Hello everyone, this video will be about doing applique. We're going to applique a letter. So to start that, we're just going to insert some text. I already have the letter J selected from a schoolhouse font, and we're going to use as drawn quad as the feature of the letter. And we're going to get a letter on the screen here that basically is the graphic that we're going to want to applique. In this case, I'm going to want to increase its size, because I want to have basically a 4-inch letter for this demonstration. So I'm going to increase the size to roughly 4 inches by just moving it down to the other 2-inch marker on the ruler. We have +2, -2 here. So now we have a 4-inch letter. So a new feature in Embroideryware now is the applique steps been added to the stitches category. And under that, we have 4 different applique types. We have placement line, which is used to show you where you can place fabric. This is useful if you have pre-cut letters. Cutting line, which basically will tack down the letter to the fabric, and then you can cut around this line. The tack down stitch, which once you've cut it, you tack down the fabric even better. And the top stitches are what cover up everything. So in this case, we're going to make this a placement line, because that's the first step. Now the cutting line graphic right now is actually a quad stitch, which we don't really need that for a placement stitch. We could just make this as drawn single. So we have the placement line done. Now the next step is to do the cut line. So we're just going to copy the graphic and paste in the same location, which will give us an identical graphic in the same location down below. So now we can change this one to cutting line, but in this case we might want to do an as drawn double because we want to get it firmly placed down. So we'll just go around twice, and then the next step we want to copy the graphic again, and we want to paste in the same location. Now in this case we're going to want to do a tack down, which will cover over the edges of the fabric that we've cut. And so instead of doing an as drawn double, we want to do a satin, and we want to close it so that this corner gets closed. Otherwise it's just raw edges of the satin. And in this case the satin spacing is too big for just tacking down, so we're going to set this to 20, the satin spacing. And you'll notice now the zigzag, or the satin, is pretty coarse. And then the final step, oh, did we change this to tack down? Yes, we did. The final step would be to actually do the top stitches. So we'll do cut and paste again, paste the same location. And in this case, we'll change the satin spacing to 4. And we'll make the satin a little wider so it covers over everything. So we're going to change it from 10 to 15. And now we're done. We basically have now an applique letter. Now how this works, all these letters are the same color. And so when it outputs, it's going to go ahead and do a color increment so that the machine will stop so you could do the next step. Because DST files don't have any color information on them, but they won't know it's an applique or not. It'll just stop the machine, and so you can do the next step. So now I have the applique loaded, and we're going to go ahead and start. With the placement lines down, we put down our fabric. We'll proceed to tack the fabric down. how's the tack stitch? The applique letter turned out okay. I probably needed to trim closer and make the satin wider, but there you have it.